Alright, this is gonna be a really quick one. Here's my what do you even call that? I forget what the word is. Not presupposition. It's a anyways, here's my stance, right? Is desire is suffering. I know you've probably heard that around, especially if you've like read anything on Buddhism. But it's a saying that people don't usually think about. Why is desire suffering? Desire helps motivate you to do things. Desire helps you to achieve your goals. And I want to make a distinction between we'll take a recent example. I wanted a new solid state drive because I'm going on vacation for a few months, and uh I only have a 500 gig SSD, and so I'm like, I might want to download some movies or games or something to put on it while I'm away. So I saved up my money and I got a solid state drive. You know, that's a desire. Materialism is a desire. I want nice speakers. I want a nice monitor. I want a nice computer, and I can get those things. All I have to do is save my money. But then I think about like, oh, do I want a $1 million house? Well, yeah, that'd be really nice. It'd be really great if I had $1 million house, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and buy one. And that's really where you need to make the distinction, right? Is when does it become a desire for the sake of desire and a desire within the bounds of living the more simple life? And this is gonna sound completely unrelated to what I'm about to talk about, but we're gonna talk about proprietary software and desire. So there's a lot of, especially in recent years, there's a lot of channels that just bitch and moan about Windows 11 and Windows 10 and whatever, and it's like, yeah, you can bitch and moan all you want, but at the end of the day, you're a Windows channel. You're gonna you're gonna have to deal with whatever Microsoft gives you. And we don't really have this problem in free software because while you are giving up your control of every package that goes on your computer, I mean, you're not the one developing libgcc or whatever, libgc, KDE, you're not developing KDE, you're not developing um, Perl, you don't develop anything on your computer unless you are a developer. And there is software out there if you're into that, like suckless tools. You have to fucking rewrite the source code in C of all things, and I don't think that's really for most people. But the difference is, though, that with a Linux computer, there is likely a program out there that does what you want it to in the way you want it to, which is why I'm using XFCE. I have used KDE for a bit, but it's got some issues that I've been having trouble with, especially with Wayland. But anyways, I use XFCE because it does what I want it to, mostly in the way I think it should work, except like the settings are scattered all over the place. But you can always change things. If you don't like light DM, you can change to LY or whatever, and you can change things on your desktop. Whereas with Windows, you can't really do that. And people will bitch and moan about that. They'll be like, "Why'd you take away our ability to user theme? Why'd you take away the? Why'd you put the taskbar in the center? I didn't want it in the center." I'm actually okay with it being in the center. I don't really mind that. But some people don't like that, and it's like, well, this is where desire turns into suffering, where what you want is control over your computer, and you really what you're experiencing is desire to control Microsoft to make them do what you want. And there's really no way you can do that. There's no way you can control a corporation making the proprietary software on your computer. It's not like somebody else is forking the desktop or making a new desktop. It's not like somebody's making different libraries, whatever it ends up being. And you don't really have a choice. So in order to live, I guess, a happier life, I'd say, you really want to ditch as much proprietary software as possible. You want to live simpler. You want to be a simpler person. That's gonna sound, again, unrelated, because like, why would you want a very technical desktop if you're if you're trying to be simpler. And it's like, well, the reason that I say simpler is because you are getting rid of software you cannot control, you know? You should be in full control of your computer. Now, you will have to, again, put some trust in somebody to develop the packages for your computer, but if you don't like what they're doing, you can always download something else and it should work. Like for me, I don't like systemd, so I don't use it. There's somebody out there developing a package that, hell, just for Void Linux entirely, where it doesn't use systemd and it works about the way I want it to. And I think that's really what I have to say about these channels that just complain about Microsoft. It's like, well, stop complaining and make the switch, you know? Because the more you complain about it, the more you will suffer. And your best bet is just to cut it off while you can. And you'll make yourself happier. At least I think. That's about it. Thanks.